Recorded presentation.
No, it's not. रेडियो जिंदगी 1170 AM पे वेलकम लिसनर्स, मैं हूं आपके साथ में ईरा. शो लेके आए हैं आपके लिए द शाह पिराली लॉ शो which happens here every Wednesday between 10 AM and 11 AM. This show is brought to you by the Shah Pirali Law Group. And listeners, once again we have attorney Shah Pirali on air with us. All of you know him. He's been doing this show on the radio for a long time. Attorney Shah Pirali is the founder, president and managing attorney of the Shah Pirali Law Group, which is headquartered here in Newark, California. He is a member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association as well as the State Bar of California. He is a passionate advocate of human rights, civil rights, social action and social services, and he has a strong interest in and knowledge of the political legal system in the US. He formed his law group to work on the causes that he feels most ardently about. His law group focuses on immigration law with an emphasis on employment-based immigration, and he helps clients all over the U.S. His offices are in Newark, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. You can give him a call on 510-742-5887, and his website is piralilaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. Listeners, right now, during the show, if you have any questions, you can call us on the studio number 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. That's the number where you can call and ask him questions about any immigration status, any immigration case, any question that you have about ongoing case, or if you're looking to file something, or if you have questions about forms, anything, you can give him a call. 510-657-1170. Attorney Shah, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Ira. Good morning to all the listeners. Just to let you know, I'm having some issues with my phone, so in case it gets disconnected, Ira, I will need you to kind of continue. So hopefully we don't have this problem. I'm going through a lot of issues with internet today. So I apologize for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Attorney Shah Pirali, of course, and we're going to discuss about the situation of immigration and talk a little bit about employment-based, family-based, and feel free to call the number to the studio, and I will be glad to answer if I can. So, Ira, I hope you're hearing me okay?
I can hear you fine, yes.
Okay, perfect. So we are talking, of course, about the immigration situation, and we are seeing a lot of good things happening. For one, we saw the visa built-in. There was a jump. I won't go into the details yet, but it seems like there is a jump, and we are expecting some other jump in October. However, having said that, doesn't mean you're going to have an amazing jump, which will actually cause suddenly everything to be current. It won't happen, especially not for India. But at the same time, we are going to see some good movement, hopefully, because there was less applications in the past couple of years, especially due to the COVID, and also we had all those movements from EB2 to EB3, etc. So we're going to see some kind of things happening, but it won't be that much like most people are expecting. So you need to be ready for that, because a lot of people tend to think that this is going to be we're going to have a good ride coming, but it's not for sure this will happen. So I recommend that you go ahead and basically check. Ira, can you hear me?
I can hear you. We have a caller who's wishing to speak to you.
Yeah, let me take the caller.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know, because sometimes I don't check the text. So
all right, let's take this call. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shah Pirali.
Hi, Mr. Shah. I have a quick question regarding my form.
Yes,
in November 2020, my employer filed my form where my title was software developer, and it's still in process. In March, 2 or 3 months ago, I was promoted to software development manager. So assuming if I get my form approved, say in a month or so, do I need to refile it with a new title, or can I use the same to file 140?
That's a very interesting situation, but it is a case-by-case basis. So we have to look how much of the change, right? If you're looking at the materially substantial change in the employment, the answer is yes, you have to redo it. But if it's just few additions and the gist of the labor certification is the same, you might be able to use that. And also, just to let you know, the way the system works for labor certification and green card is for future employment. So that means you can have a different job offer at this point in time, but if at a later stage you get an upgrade or a promotion, as long as when the time you get your green card, you move back to that position that the labor certification was on, you're fine. So there are two ways to deal with that. No, yeah. So, but most companies don't like to do that because it doesn't make sense that someone was promoted and then get demoted. So what they do, they redo it. But if you don't see major changes, you should be fine. But if there are major changes, and that's very hard to tell just on the call, we have to kind of match the job descriptions. If you see some material differences, then you need to refile. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck to you. That's an interesting question, Ira, because I'm getting a lot of people. Actually, even today, I got like three people I spoken to that have the same issues, and it seems like things are booming. People are getting promoted, and what happens to their situation that they file, and especially people who downgraded to EB3, moving something lower, now they're getting basically what we call a promotion. How does it affect their green card? It does affect it if there are substantial changes. The question, what are the substantial changes? And that's where it gets tricky again, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really kind of, it's very hard to tell just looking at it. We have to really kind of match the job, and also you need to make sure that when your employer is doing your petition, there are some kind of consideration for that job description, because them giving you a promotion and then later you have to continue in that job, you cannot move back to the old one, might create problems at the level with USCIS, because the information you're giving to the government will no longer be reliable, and that can create problems for you. So I highly recommend that you talk to an attorney, do a comparison, talk to your company lawyer, or if you want an independent lawyer to look at it, you can give us a call at the office. I can kind of assess your case on an individual level, because it's a very important point, because if you look at the rules of a labor certification, it's for a specific job. So changing that jobs can definitely affect the entire case. So I hope people are making sure that they are doing it right, so that in the future, because even if you get the green card later, it's found out that it was not obtained for that position, it can create a lot of issues for you even at the citizenship level. So be careful on that. So any other caller, Ira?
Let me actually remind everybody, we were getting a call that got dropped, but listener, if you are still there, if you would still like to ask a question, or other listeners also, if you would like to get on air and ask one question about your immigration case or status, anything at all, you can call Attorney Shapirali right now on the studio number 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. Or if you'd like to get in touch with Attorney Shapirali after the show, you can call him up on 510-742-5887. Make an appointment, 510-742-5887, and get all this information and more about what all are the immigration areas that they can help you. The website is peeralilaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. Yes, Attorney Shah, let's continue.
Yes, exactly. And again, the same issues. If in case we lose track, or you please.
I'll get you back.
Okay, great. So just to let people know, this is Attorney Shapirali, and we're discussing about immigration. We are expecting some good things happening. Hopefully we get rid of, well, we cannot get rid, but at least we can deal with the situation of the COVID, and it seems like we're on the right path now. There are other political issues going on in the U.S., and those all can actually, if we go back in time and have Trump later, then we are going to see some more problems coming, because this time he will come back stronger. Actually, we had an article, I was just reading that, I think a few minutes earlier. I don't have the details, but it seems like Microsoft proposed some ideas how to actually reduce the waiting time for people from India. But again, it's Microsoft proposition. It might not be good, or it might be good. So I didn't look into it. I'm just letting people know because I'm getting calls on that. Just to let you know, when a company or someone make a proposition, doesn't mean it becomes law. Because people tend to take rumors, or they take a proposition, they make it as if it's already law. It's not until it's voted. If it goes to the Senate, to the Congress. To the Congress, then then it becomes law, or if it is through executive order. So just don't buy into a lot of those things that we see, and we're seeing a lot of this recently. Excuse me. So we are seeing a lot of this right now. A lot of people are keeping hope, which is good. So I just want to let people know, until you run things until it becomes law, and until it actually kind of start getting effective, because sometimes some stuff becomes law, but still they don't like. For example, the H4 was supposed to become law under Trump, that it was going to be processed under premium, but we never seen it, right? So USCIS has not adopted it, because USCIS has a different way of doing policy. Something becomes law until they basically adopt it officially. It becomes a big issue, or unless someone starts suing. But right now, I think the argument of USCIS, they don't have enough people to deal with that, so they want people to actually kind of help on those. So I highly so it is a situation of we are in a situation where things are going in a good way, but at the same time, don't try just to base your decision on rumors, and that will be an issue that we're going to see in the future. So I would like you to tell people, when they tell you, oh, don't go for this filing because something better is coming. The rule is simple: one bird in hand is better than 2 or 10 in the bush.
Yes.
So you need to, people need to know that, because they tend to wait on things. And sometimes I tell people myself, hey, wait, things are going to be better. But that's usually when you don't have anything right now to work with, right? It only applies to work with that. So it is something very, very tricky. And I will recommend that people talk to a team of lawyers, or talk to another lawyer, to make sure that they don't try to make mistake or miss on a chance. Okay? Because I give you an example. I had a client who called me, and he actually tried to downgrade, and I told him not to downgrade, and he was upset because I said that. But then now he's realizing that he's better off, because now his dates became current under EB2, which is a lot better because the final action date became current. So he would have lost that chance by downgrading. So there are sometimes it's good that I don't go only by the law. I also go by experience, and sometimes my instinct, having done this for now 17 years, right? And it's important, because that's really the final touch that makes the case. And many times I tell people I have a feeling this will happen, and it does happen. Sometimes I'm wrong, but most of the time I'm right based on my experience. Just like a doctor, you go to a doctor and they basically check on you. They might say, hey, I have a feeling this is going to be okay, but they don't have anything scientific. It's just a feeling that we get sometimes because we've been doing this for too many years, right?
True.
So now at this point in time, I highly recommend that people, so it is important that it is kind of important that you make sure that you run things by an attorney before you make any move. So now let's talk a little bit about this, the priority dates, of course, because a lot of people asking me, what do I expect in the coming future?
Right.
I think we're going to see, I'm going to kind of venture into the psychic world, maybe. I don't know how to put it, but it's more experience. But I think EB2 will move faster soon. EB2 will still move, but then suddenly at one point you're going to see a lot of people downgrading. It will retrogress. And I might be wrong, but that's what I think will happen. As for the EB2, I think it will continue progressing, sometimes slowly but surely, for the next probably 6 months to 1 year. And in October, on the financial year, just before that, you will see hopefully a jump, right? So I'm hoping EB2 will go to 2012 or 2013 even. But I might be wrong on that, but I'm talking final action date here, by the way. So I am hoping that's where we're going to be. But I know this 2012 actually it's a big thing, but it's all still 9 years behind, right? 9 or 10 years almost. So, but at least some people are going to be able to get their green card. Now, the option that last time when we talked to Sharif, we are always proposing go for an EB1 because to waiting on other stuff is it is very, very important that you make sure that you're choosing the right approach in your case. Like I have people calling me and their dates are current and they are not from countries where they have to wait and they want to jump ship because they ship, okay, by the way. They want to jump ship that because they feel like, hey, they're getting a better offer. But at least be patient because for one, if you're able to file your adjustment of status, wait 6 months and then you move. Then you will be under AC 21 Section 104C, if I'm not mistaken, where you can move after 180 days on a same or similar position. Because if you move before that and the I-140 was just approved, within 6 months the company can actually cancel the I-140, take it back, withdraw it. And that will be, you've been waiting, and a green card sometimes it's not easy to get it. You have to go through the whole process again. So I recommend people that they actually kind of make sure that before they make a decision based on money purely, look at the future, because that's what most people do. Of course, we are in America, we look at the offers, etc. But remember, you can move to a nice company. I'll give you an example I had long time ago where someone, he jumped with an offer twice his salary with a startup, right? Everything was perfect. He just abandoned the green card stuff, and he was going to get it. At that time, they could cancel it, things within 6 months, and he jumped, and they canceled it. And then when he moved to the startup, doing very well for a couple of months, and then the startup just went belly up.
Oh.
And guess what? He loses everything. Now he lost the H-1B, his chance of getting green card. He's reaching his 6 years. He doesn't have an I-140. He had to go back and wait 1 year and then come back. I don't know if he even came back. So this is something that you have to think about, because it's not only about the money, it's about your future. You suffered here. You don't want to suffer more. Money you will probably make more because you're qualified. That's why you're here. But the green card, not every company can do that. Even companies who are willing to do it, they might not qualify. Now, companies who are also companies who are also qualified to do it, sometimes they have layoff, right? So what happens is that you have a layoff, and within 6 months they cannot file any case. And even if the labor certification is approved, they cannot file the I-140. 6 months passes, they cannot file the I-140. They have to start over again. So think well what you're doing before you make a move. At least complete the 6 months to move that AC-21 move. So that's one kind of, I'm talking about that because I got a few calls in the past weeks where people now are reaching their 6 months after filing their I-140 and the I-45 and the downgrade, and they want to move. So just make sure that you know exactly what you're doing, because if you just go ahead and just move because of it's a money issue, you might end up by regretting it. So be careful on that. I just wanted to let people know about that, and then also make people understand that it is something really major, that you don't just jump on things, and also you make sure that you talk to an attorney again before you make the move. An independent attorney is very recommended because he will or she will look at your interest before even making any move. So, any questions on that, Ara? Because this is something very frequent I get.
Definitely. And when you were talking about the priority date and stuff, I wanted to ask you if you have the bulletin handy so that you might be able to tell what the current dates are going on with all the categories so that people know.
Yeah, I'm trying to open that too since I'm having some issues with my
yes,
internet.
with your internet.
I'm not, but
Meanwhile,
I looked at it. I think we have seen it. Yeah, any caller?
No. Meanwhile, I'd like to remind everybody that we have about half an hour more. So if you have a question about your immigration case, or if you're considering jumping ship, SHIP, P for Peter. So if you have any questions, you can call right now on 510-657-1170. That's the studio number, as always, 510-657-1170. Or if you'd like to have a more private discussion with Attorney Shah Pirali, you can call his office number after this show, 510-742-5887, to make an appointment to talk to him later. We have a caller. Let's speak to them. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shah Pirali.
Hey, yeah, I have a question for Shah.
Please go ahead. He's listening.
I'm listening to you.
Hey, yeah. So I have a question regarding adjustment of status. So my adjustment of status was filed, and I'll be adding my spouse to my case. So I wanted to check, like, besides the marriage certificate, what other documents are mandatory, or are they even mandatory to provide to prove some bona fide marriage or no?
Okay, that's an interesting question. It's kind of a little bit long, but I'll try my best to cover some of it. Number one, in order to add your spouse, the dates have to be current on the priority date again, okay? If, for example, you file on a downgrade and the dates are no longer current, you cannot file it, okay? So just to let you know about that, okay? So it is very important that you know this. That's number one. Now, number two, if you're talking about the requirements, it's usually the marriage certificate, and you can add some other stuff to prove your marriage, like maybe some pictures and stuff like that. But the rest is pretty much that's the most important one. Of course, the other documents are normal, like birth certificate.
Actually my question is, so I have seen like there is some checklist or something to prove your bona fide marriage, which requires like tax documents or joint bank statements and all those things. But my question is, since like we were not
are you talking about marriage petitions, or are you talking about employment based? You already have.
No, it's an employment based. So that's what I was confused. That are those like tax documents or?
No, you don't need that much on employment based, because you can put your tax return, and unless they question your marriage, you don't have to put anything else. So you're pretty much fine. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay, because the thing is, last year we were not married, so we don't have any joint tax documents and those things.
No, you don't have to worry about that right now, because
so those are not mandatory.
What is your priority date? What is your priority date?
My priority date is September 2012.
Okay, September 2012, and your so your priority date is September 2012, and your EB2, EB3?
Yeah, so they downgraded to EB3.
Okay, so you're EB3, so you still have to wait. So you don't have to worry. If later on they need anything, they will send you an RFE and ask you for more documents. If in case they feel like there are some kind of any kind of doubt on your marriage. Otherwise, no, you don't have to provide much stuff. This is not a marriage case. This is a employment base, so they don't really question your marriage. So I don't see any reason they're going to really ask you for that. Okay?
I see.
Okay. Does that answer your question, sir, or do you have a follow-up question?
Yes. No, this answers my question. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good luck to you. If you need any help, let me know, okay? Give me a call,
yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for calling in. Listeners, if you also have any questions, call right away on 510-657-1170. Yes, Attorney Shah.
Yes, indeed. These are many times I have people calling me and on a consultation, and they want me to give them a checklist. I can't give you a checklist on the consultation because I can tell you about the general checklist. And
Hello? Yeah, Attorney Shah, I can't hear you. So, listeners, what I'll do is I'll remind you of all the numbers. I'll give out all the numbers again and get Attorney Shah, try to get him back on air with us. The number to call right now is 510-657-1170. That's 510-657-1170. Or if you'd like to get in touch with Attorney Shah Pirali, on his office number, you can call him on 510-742-5887. That's 510-742-5887. His website is piralilaw.com. That's PEERALLYLAW.com. There are different areas on immigration that he can help you and his team can help you with. So if you have any questions, if you want to know what all are your options, get in touch with them. Let them give you a consultation. Meanwhile, we'll take a small little break here, and after that, we'll come back and try to continue this conversation with Attorney Shah Pirali. You stay tuned, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Attorney Shah, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was expecting this, but now it seems like everything is fixed, so things will get better.
Awesome.
Can you hear me properly now?
Loud and clear, yes.
Loud and clear. Sorry, I really apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, this is what happens when we do things remotely because of the COVID, etc., etc. So, at the same time, COVID or not, I like to do it remotely. that kind of helps me. So
I'm pretty sure everybody's going to have a pretty difficult time, getting up and going to work every day once these things kind of settle down.
Exactly.
They hate it.
Hey, everybody's working odd hours now. People working at night and during the day, they're kind of enjoying themselves. At the same time, people who can do it, right? They can put the work like on the night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a world changing. But I think a lot of companies actually, just talking about this, a lot of companies are going to go remote because even myself, I'm thinking of some of my staff. I'll just let them work remotely because it's good for them and at the same time it's safer. So this is something to consider actually, right? So let's see how things work. But at the same time, going to the office is a different fun, right? It gives you a break from the house. So it has its good and bad.
Maybe a few times a week you go to the office just for a change, just for a change of scenery, and then continue working from home. Right. So we were talking about the bulletin, yes.
So it is the visa bulletin, yes. We're talking about that, and we are hoping that we're going to see a change, a good change, but at the same time, we're not going to see some kind of miracle happening, right? So, like a lot of people are saying, Biden will just make everything current. No, I don't think it will happen, and we've been saying that for a while now. So you have to have realistic expectations, right? And a lot of people tend not to have that, and this is where they get deceived and they get disappointed because they are waiting for the two birds in the bush when they have the one in the hand. So always make sure that you take the one in the hand. That's a rule that applies to life, and also it is something very, very, very different when it comes to that. So it is imperative actually that you make sure that you don't just go by rumors, right, and listen to people there, because I get that a lot. I get people calling me on a consultation telling me they heard this and that, and I understand that, hey, you have hope, which is good. Sometimes you can come up with good, but most of the time these are just rumors. They are not really, they might be happening, politicians have promised it, or they even go to the Senate, but they stay there. If you look at the immigration in the past 15 years or so, nothing has come up from the Senate. Nothing has come up from the Congress in general, right? Both of them. So all you have been seeing is under Obama are all those executive orders, and even under Trump they were the executive orders. They have not really passed, except some negative rules they passed under immigration. Nothing really positive has been passed there. It seems like almost that they are dead end there. They are just getting paid to do nothing, to be honest. It gets on my nerves. Luckily, we have some good Congress people, but at the same time, much of it was not done because unfortunately, some groups, probably some of the Republicans, even some of the Democrats, they like the status quo, right? Status quo is something so it is something that is very, very convenient for politicians because they get arguments, they argue the same thing. I've been an attorney now for 17 years, and I've not seen a single time they came up with something that was worth it for us, right? For our community or for other stuff. They have passed other things outside immigration, but immigration zero. The only laws that you saw in immigration that help immigrants under Obama were all executive orders. People will say, oh, now but executive orders have limitations. Like H-480 was an executive order. The I-140 petition that keeps it alive for 6 months was an executive order. You name it, all the good stuff you've seen are all executive orders. Executive orders means they didn't go to the Congress. They bypassed Congress through the executive power of the executive branch, which is the government, like right now is Biden and Kamala. So it is not something that you can rely on 100%, but at the same time, that was the only way. And that's why when I started fighting for the H-480, I basically focused on executive order. A lot of people were going, oh, we're going to go to Congress, give money to lobby, and I know a lot of those lobbyists took money from people. You should not give money to them, by the way. Most of them are useless. They are just taking money, and they're getting, and you will see them. They brag about, oh, they did this, that, but nothing. That is single things as lobbyists, and they know who I'm talking about. They get in fight with me all the time, but we have a few one in our own community, so they have not done a single thing that really worked, to be honest. Nothing. Sometimes they put, I'm not saying no, they don't really put the effort, but you have to understand, lobbyists, they work basically kind of, when you give the money, they're lawyers, they're people who work there get paid first, and then the money goes to do, and they are basically going there, sitting there, and trying to lobby a congressman, and actually they passed some laws. But the law got stuck. It never got signed into law. I mean, they passed stuff in the Congress, and we've seen this in the past few months or years. And I'm not saying they're not doing their best. That's what they do. That's what they do. They go and lobby. But the problem is that going in and lobby and knowing full well that most of them are going to be dead end is really frustrating, right? So I highly recommend that you just don't give money to them, because unless we know there's someone who have proven themselves, and most of the time they don't prove themselves in the situation of immigration. They have done well with NRA, they have done well with APAC and stuff like that, but not really for immigration, unfortunately. People who have really changed the law, not people but entities, are the Supreme Court, or the organization, non-profit, and of course the executive orders. So these are the ones that you have to focus on, and hopefully we see some good stuff happening in there. Any question, any caller right now?
I was, when you were talking about, not paying anybody you come across and people, who's working, how much they're working. I remember this article that it has been doing the rounds these days about this immigration attorney, I think, who's been asking for transparency in USCIS processes. Do you know about that? He questions he questions the need for EADs and he wants things to process on time, and he wants transparency about USCIS and all those decisions. Who's making the decision? On what basis is it being decided?
Those are different. If it is an organization, let's say ACLU, an example, a really recognized organization, is asking you to be a member because they're fighting for your rights. They do fight for your rights. Those are genuine organizations. We have CARE in the community. You have the Sikh organization some of them, I'm not mentioning names here, I'm just giving an examples, but they are genuine. These are not lobbies. They are getting ready to fight in court to make things happen. But what I'm talking here are the lobbyists, and I'm not going to mention names, but many times for them to survive, they need contribution. And there's nothing wrong to give contribution, but at least know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, if you're going to keep doing contributions and nothing is going to happen, it is unfortunately that's how the system works, right? And they live through that. It's just like someone tells you, okay, you have to clean snow, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to fight that there's no snow. So I don't know how it's going to work, and you're going to give them money. It doesn't work this way. So I highly recommend that people think before they do that, and hopefully it will change. Things will get better, but at this point in time, there's no confirmation that they have done anything. They have not proven themselves.
Tell me this thing, Attorney Shah, for the H4s and L2s and dependent visa holders, is it right that the biometric screening has been suspended for some time? So that probably, I don't know for what reason, but it would definitely...
That is really good, actually, because one of the reasons you saw such a huge delay on the H4, etc., was because of that, because of the biometrics. And the biometrics was like a horror story if you hear people what they went through. So I'm happy that at least they have done without it, because it was not really worth it. H1B doesn't do biometrics, but H4 has to do biometrics. Explain that to me. I still don't understand what is the logic behind it.
We are the criminals. I said the dependents are the criminals.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it's just something that was done basically to give a hard time to people. Let's be honest. A lot of things was happening in the Trump administration just because they couldn't pass laws to really kind of block people. So what they will do, they will just slow down people, and that's kind of trick of the trade. But hey, that's what they done to people, and unfortunately, many of us many of my clients suffered through it. So I hope basically this kind of stuff are going to kind of change, because it doesn't really make sense. Why would we have this nonsense stuff of doing a fingerprint only for the
dependents,
for the H4, but not for the H1, and then all the stuff. I understand maybe for visitor visa because they are new and everything, but H4 has already been cleared, so I really don't see any reason they should do that. So I hope that it will not come back.
Well,
but again,
now what I read was for 2 years, and hopefully I really hope it continues. We have a caller. Let's take this call and speak to them. Sure. Hello, you're on air with Attorney Shapirali.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my question. For my parents, the green card was filed using consular processing option from the Mumbai consulate.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
the case was marked as documentarily qualified.
Okay, go ahead.
And but the processing is now halted due to COVID. So because there are no appointments, etc., received. So the question is, can parents still come to the U.S. on their non-immigrant tourist visa? And if they do, subsequently, can we finish the GC processing while they are in the U.S.?
That's a very interesting question. Number one, I think no right now, because I think they suspended even existing B1, B2, but I'm not sure on that. But I heard that they are not allowing people, even with the B1, B2, to come from India. But if they can come, the answer is yes on the second part. You can do adjustment of status when they come in, but I recommend that you wait 90 days before you make any move. So in case they are able to come, you just give me a call and I'll guide you how to do that. Okay?
Okay, great. Shah, also I have taken an appointment on Friday to discuss a little bit more on this, but I just wanted to see where this is heading.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. No, I'll talk to you on Friday because I don't want to ask you private question on air. That's the reason. Okay?
Thank you so much, Shah. I'll speak with you on Friday. And very
that is
great
so nice.
service.
Okay.
Thank you for all the continued assistance. Thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I'll talk to you on Friday. So I don't know if we have more callers, Ira. Callers?
No, thank you. Thank you very much for calling in. Listeners, if you also have any questions, definitely make an appointment like the previous caller and call us right now during the show. To make an appointment, you can call the office number, which is 510-742-5887. Or if you want to ask one question, one generic question, not really going into a lot of details, you can call right now on the studio number 510-657-1170. Please continue.
Yes, indeed. That's thank you so much for the nice caller for the kind words
Yes.
she just mentioned. And at the same time, I just wanted to remind people. Many times I will stop you in the conversation, not because I want to stop you, it's because I don't want you to release any private information on your case that can harm you in the future. So it's not like I do it just to hurt you. In fact, I do it because
to protect them,
I don't want you to disclose, because at one point you might tend to disclose very harmful information, even though it's anonymous. You never know. So I will highly recommend that sometimes I will not give you the answer directly like that because I have to assess the case. So just kind of touching a word here. So going back now to the situation that we are seeing right now is we were talking about all those drives and stuff like that, but yeah, just be careful who you give your money to, because that's becoming like a scam thing, and I really feel bad for people, and we are going to fight this, and we are winning small battles. There's no war to win on this when it comes to immigration. Remember that. All we are doing is we are fighting our battles and hoping that that we ultimately win something good for you. But I've been fighting for not only for cases, but I've been fighting for changing the law many times. And people who know me know that I'm very, very aggressive when it comes to something I like. And right now, we were talking about that last time, and I got stopped because of because of the situation we're having in India. Everybody's panicking, so I didn't have time really to focus on that H4 issue. And I'm getting a lot of them. Actually, I got organizations calling me, telling me that we are getting a lot of people who are on H4 and they're getting mistreated by their spouses, but they have not been hit physically, but they're getting mistreated. And unfortunately, there's no provision in the law to protect those kind of people. People who are victims of direct domestic violence, that means physical abuse, they have the U visa. But people who have been, like, for example, abused mentally, and which is worse, actually, to be honest. A lot of people don't realize that it's worse to be abused, like insulted, than just getting a slap. Well, that's my feeling. I might be wrong. But a lot of people suffer from that. They will be mistreated. Their money will be taken. You'll have their in-laws mistreating them and things like that. So there's no provision in the law to protect the H4 visa. And I make an appeal on this today, and I have to start that. I might need the help of people who are interested in helping to push the petition. And we're going to send a strong letter like I did on the H4. Actually, what I did on the H4, I wrote an open letter to Obama, and it was actually published on the website of NDTV, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that letter actually made a big impact.
Oh, wow.
Because just after that, things started moving, right? And that's my goal. If we have enough signatures on this, we can have an impact. And since Biden is definitely more receptive than Trump, and he's basically the founder or the one who wrote the VAWA rules, we might be appealing to this and that. And that's my idea, the next move. If we get enough signature on this H4 abused spouses, we will move forward and write that open letter, and hopefully we'll get some important newspapers to publish it. The problem is that when this was done, we were in a stable world, right? Let's be honest. We were in a world where people were caring more about certain things like this stuff. But right now there's so many problems in the world, the timing might not be right. That's what I wanted to mention, because it's all about timing, right? Right now, people are worried about COVID, about losing jobs, about all the problems happening in America, and slowly, people are becoming kind of numb, right? They are not really kind of paying attention to issues that doesn't affect them directly. And luckily, when we did the H4, one of the reasons it was able to change, because it became actually not only a human rights issue, but mostly a human rights issue, but it became also specifically a woman rights issue. And we got the support of many human rights and women's rights organizations to get this moving. And ultimately, so much pressure, especially coming from many of those organizations, changed the law, and they just agreed, and I didn't even know the law was changed until I got a call from CNN, and they say, this was passed. What do you have to say? I said, really, the challenge changed it, and that's how I knew, because I was not following up. I was still fighting, and then suddenly I just got a call. Did you know they passed it? I said, wow, good. I'm happy. But actually, all the recommendations we put in that letter pretty much was adopted by the H4 EAD, and I'm very proud of that, because that's probably the culmination of my career when this happened. Although I have a little bit credit on it, most of the credit goes to the ladies actually who fought for this. So I really want to say that now the next step is we need to protect people who are losing their H4 because of marital issues, and we know this, especially now with the COVID situation, the lockdown. A lot of people are fighting. I can tell you, it's becoming kind of a day-to-day thing right now, when we are getting people who are actually basically living together in the house, and then small things are and it is important that we know that people will care for it. So that's where the timing becomes very, very important, and I highly recommend that as people who want to really make a difference in the world, to support this kind of approach. Like, we need to give a chance. And I know a lot of people are upset at me too when I say that, because they say, "Oh, I'm just protecting this group or this group." And it affects disproportionately women. Let's be honest, because many of them are in H4, and I'm not a woman, so you cannot accuse me of being sexist on this. So it's the truth, because we have to accept the truth. I'm not, but it does affect men too, because the problem is not only abuse both ways now. If you look at the statistics now, it's almost equal now. You have abusive spouses on both sides.
That's true.
It's mental, it's physical. You'll be surprised the kind of cases I've handled. I had people shooting their husband. I had people shooting their wives, right? So it's not only one side; it's two sides. So it's something that you need to be aware of, and not just ignore it, because a lot of people will get upset if I say a man has been abused. They will be laughing. It does happen, and it happens a lot more than you may think, right? It's all over the place, and it's becoming more and more frequent because the gender system are changing. A lot of things are changing. The world is changing, and with a new world where everybody wants to be equal, instead of being equal, the one wants to be superior on the other. And in the East you have men, in the West you have women. So it becomes a mix. And unfortunately, many of our people, they have a little bit of both, and they get confused. So that's another problem we have. The other problem we have is also people, most of the time when a marriage is not working, most people will want to fix it, right? So when they try to fix it, unfortunately, they make mistakes like, for example, if they get a domestic violence case where they got hit, they won't go to the police. And I understand them, because you don't want to break your marriage just because of what you call, quote unquote, a simple slap or something. But at the end of the day, if it starts this way, it gets worse. If you call the police, you might get a U visa, for example. And if you don't call, if you decide to do that like 2 months later, you won't even have a proof that this happened. Mm-hmm. So it is very, very important that you make sure that all this it is important, like I said, to kind of make sure that you talk to a lawyer, and also don't just get into a divorce because of simple things, right? That's another problem too we see. But at the same time, if you believe that you've been abused, you better do something about it. Now, going back to the H4 situation, just to let people know who don't understand, the H4, if this is a dependent visa. So if there's a divorce or your spouse decides to separate from you, who's on H1, they can actually go ahead, and he or she can go ahead and cancel the H4, right? And even before the divorce, I repeat that, even before the divorce, they can say, I don't want to file anymore, I don't want to support her or anything, support him. Although most of the time, until the divorce is finalized, they cannot do a lot, they can still do it. So be aware of that. So the question now, what protection? There's one protection that the H4 has kind of given, is that protection of the H4 EAD for abused spouses. The problem with that protection, it only gives you a work permit. It doesn't give you a status. And what happens to the people? Many of them move to student visa, for example, or they move to other kinds of visas, but they don't have a status. And that's the part that we're going to fight for. They need to have something they can work with. And like I said, if it is a physical abuse, you will get a U visa, which is perfect.
But what is somebody supposed to do with a work permit and not a visa? I mean, how can they continue being here? It's useless.
So basically what they're saying, go and find some kind of other visa, like student visa or something, and you can use your work permit.
So what is that something? That something is what needs to be found out.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's what we want to fight for. We need to find some kind of visa that protects people who have been abused emotionally, who have been abused other ways, to get that visa, because if you count on the system the way it's set right now, it doesn't help anybody. So that's what we're going to fight for, hopefully, in the next few months, and probably years, because it took us a lot of years to get it. I think it took I started fighting for H4 EAD was 2010, and it passed in 2015.
Wow.
So that means it took some time, right? But hopefully there will be some changes coming. But we need to fight for it, and we need to have the support of more people, because like I said, the reason it went through when it came to the H4 EAD is that a lot of organizations, newspapers, and everything kind of really kind of supported us and ultimately gave us a chance to make this happen. So I think we're almost done, right, Ira? So
yes, we are. We are in the last minute of the show. I wanted to, in fact, ask you that, since you said that you're already part-time psychic now, how long do you think this is going to take? But you already see, you are a part-time psychic because you already figured out my question and answered it on your own. So you said a few months maybe, or a few years. But, if you need people to sign this thing, I don't know, as supporters, let me know. I know lots and lots of people who would be willing to help you in this cause.
Perfect.
So definitely, and thank you very much for working on this.
Yeah. I will pass you the link, and hopefully you can share it. It will be on change.org. That's what we used last time.
Hopefully sooner than later. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. We were supposed to do that since last week, and then we had all the issues happening in India. It kind of got me totally locked. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week, same time. And anything I told you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Attorney Shah. Thank you very much for being here with us. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Remember, you can call Attorney Shah Pirali's office now, 510-742-5887 to make an appointment. Get more information on the website, piralilaw.com. That's PEERAL.